We are going to continue today with our Microsoft Office Specialist training for PowerPoint. Today, going to work specifically on Subdomain 1.4, ordering and grouping slides. You'll notice that two of the sections, creating sections and renaming, frankly, we're going to teach those together because they're pretty much difficult to actually separate. So, that said, let's go and take a look at our PowerPoint here. I got a silly one here called Pets, a Lesson on Sections. You'll notice I have about 3 different sets of animals and 3 slides for each. So I'm going to want to create sections here. There is on the Home tab a little pull-down menu here for section. I've already clicked in between 1 and 2, and you can see you can click in between them. Well, I want to start my section in between the first and the second. So I'm going to click on there and select Add Section. I now have an untitled section here, but I can actually go down after my dogs and actually create a new one actually after my dogs for the cats. So I will go ahead and add another section, and then I'll continue down after my cats and add one more section, which will clearly be for my horses. So at this point, I actually now have 3 sections that I have created. Well, again, that was also asking us in section subdomain 1.4.3 to rename these. So let's go ahead and right click. And if we right click here, we can rename the section. Notice it pops up my little menu here. Well, my first section, dogs, seems quite appropriate. So I will rename that. Again, same idea. I can go down, right click, and rename the section here for my cats. And we kind of know exactly what we're going to do for the horses. We'll just do this out of due diligence. Right click and rename it. And these are my horses. Now, the idea here is that I can actually use something with these. And I maybe should name that intro. So we have our 4 sections actually, our intro and our 3 animals. If we go to our section thing, we can remove all the sections or even collapse them. Let's go ahead and collapse all of our sections. There we go. Intro, dogs, cats, and horses. So if I'm a veterinarian by chance and I want to go to a cat crowd and start talking about cat care with my pictures of cats, I can just focus on that section only. That's one opportunity of how I can use that. Of course, if we go back to our section, you'll see we can expand all of them. We've expanded them all again. Now, if I want to only collapse just my dogs, I can go to the little arrow here, and you can see as I click on the arrow, I can maximize or minimize that one section. Same thing for cats. So if I want to have certain sections hidden or collapsed, I can do that individually as well as collectively. One more thing I can look at now is maybe I'm just done with my dogs. I can actually click on remove that section, and boom, that whole section is gone. But notice that the slides themselves are not gone, just my section. I'm going to quickly do Control Z to undo that because I do want to keep my sections for now. Again, Control Z is an undo button. Alright, now let's also look at moving these around. So for example, maybe if I wanted to put slide 4 at the very end of my presentation, I can just drag that and drag it all the way down. In fact, you can see that as these move, if I want to move it there or there, I can do so. That's one way that we can move them around. But there's a really nice way if we go to the View menu and go to Slide Sorter, especially if you have lots of slides. In this case, and by the way, you'll notice they're actually in sections, we can actually just drag and drop anything that we may want to move around. I can expand my cats and then again include everything here. So you kind of see this way of nicely, quickly reorganizing. In this case, I maybe should go back and actually remove all my sections. Boom, nice click, slides straight in order. Notice they are even numbered here. Want to move it around? Perfect. Now, one other thing about this particular view, if I wanted to now go and create my sections, I can, for example, even now click right in between them. The difference is instead of the line being horizontal, it is now vertical, and then I can right click and add a section here. Now, I don't know what I would call this particular section here, so I'll just rename it something different. All right.